Okay, well, Kufar, Akbar, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Crossing the Crescent discussion group. This is a once a week broadcasted YouTube streamed show dedicated to rightly dividing the truth between Christianity and Islam. We used to be a twice a week, but that just got to be a little too much, doing it twice. And the only reason why I was doing it twice a week is because when we were over on Blog Talk Radio, they needed the Sunday slot filled and they needed the Tuesday slot filled. So what other better volunteer than the Kafir to get out there and do it? But we kind of backed off from that. Now we're only here once a week, and we're doing it later in the afternoon so I can enjoy more of the Sunday afternoon with the grandkids. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at. I also wanted to thank Mary Harb for coming last week. I think she did a great job giving her side of why not why we believe, but how we know Ptolemy does not mention Mecca in his writings when he says Makaraba, and how that is not true. We kind of left the show disagreeing on the existence of Mecca in the 7th century, and that's okay. We can all disagree on what we want to disagree as long as we keep the one thing, or the main thing, which is that Jesus Christ is Lord. Amen. Today we're going to be looking at this Gaza, Hamas, Israeli thing going on, this war that's going on, but we're going to take a different approach to it today. We've been inundated with the news by, we can sit here and watch the 24-hour cycle of the news on covering this war, and it's like the IDF is getting ready to go into Gaza. The IDF is ready to go into Gaza. The IDF is ready to go into, and it's just they're ready. I think what the IDF is doing is absolutely genius. Let them terrorist Hamasholes rot in them tunnels that they're in. Just let them sit there and stew. And the reason why I say that is because the real danger isn't from Hamas coming back out of those tunnels and going themselves. That ain't never going to happen again. The real danger is those 100 and some odd thousand Hezbollah soldiers and those 100 and some odd thousand missiles that they have to the north up in Lebanon. That's the real danger. So I think that they're playing it right by not bogging themselves down in Gaza and waiting for Hamas to get the nod from their big daddy over there in Iran. Okay, so Rad has provided me a 16-page list of tweets. Rad has gotten back on Twitter, obviously, and we can see that he's had a little OCD going on with it and tracking down these things. And we're going to get to those, but there's a couple things that I want to point out first. And one of those things deals with, hold on, let me make sure I have this up right. Yes. Okay. So this first one, I'm going to show you some video clips, and I want to take you down memory lane. I'm sorry, I'm not in the comments. Thank you for doing that, Red. I want to take you down memory lane. If anybody in here remembers a very beautiful, fine September morning back in 2001, where we had 4 aircraft flown into the Twin Towers. One was flown into the Pentagon. The other one crashed out in a cornfield out in the middle of Pennsylvania. And the whole world was shocked. This whole world was aghast at how could this happen. But there was a group of people who didn't seem to have any problem with it. As a matter of fact, this group of people was celebrating this. Hold on, let me get over here. Was celebrating the destruction of American lives. And what I want to do right here is I want to show you who these somebodies were. If you can't hear it, just think of Allah Akbar in your head, and that's exactly what you're going to be hearing here. Okay, here we go.
No sound, but yeah, they're yelling Allah
Oh
Akbar.
my god. Do you know what's sad is that there were Muslims that died in the Twin Towers too? So it's like really sick. It's really sick.
Well, they were martyrs, or kafir because they were flying with the kafir. No, seriously, I've heard different things on that. Yeah.
Can you guys hear that or no?
No, we can't.
I think it's more the second one. It's the second one that's the problem. Do you know what I mean?
No, what are you talking about?
What Rad just said, where they would
No, I
say
didn't
that
hear
the
him.
people.
I
Rad
okay.
said that the Muslim people said that they were cheering for the other Muslims who died, that they were kafir, they were kuffar.
No, they were celebrating the death of Americans, is what they were doing.
Well, I mean, but some of these Americans were Muslims too, that were in these twin towers. So I'm like, that's the kind of sickening part of this whole thing, that you're cheering for your own folks to die too.
But you can't hear the video at all?
No,
No,
I
can't
couldn't
hear it.
hear it either, but you know,
Okay.
more Muslims kill Muslims than anybody else.
Yeah,
So I just had to comment on that.
let me try this again and see if I can get it to work. Let me know if you can hear it or not.
No, can't hear it.
You cannot hear it. That's not fair. Okay, well, the bottom line is that in Gaza and in East Jerusalem, in the West Bank, these folks are celebrating the death of Americans. They're celebrating. They're giving away candies. This is Sunnah. They're giving away candies to each other, celebrating the deaths of America, which is so apropos because what did we see 2 weeks ago? Well, let's take a look here. Hold on. Let's do this. This is in Gaza. Tell me if you can hear it.
No, can't hear it, dude.
No,
Can't hear it. Okay, this is a Twitter feed, so maybe the volume's not syncing with Twitter. I don't know, but you never guess what this guy is shouting.
Allah Akbar.
Yeah, Allah Akbar.
oh, it's different when it happens to them, huh?
Okay, so here you have people in Gaza celebrating the death of Jews, and this one is okay. This one has subtitles, so and the children are not shouting Allah Akbar. Let me just preface that. Let me show this one.
oh no, this is awful.
8 years old, 7, 8 years
Awful.
old.
This is
Same thing
child
here.
abuse. This is child abuse. You can't teach your children this.
Well, they do it for generations. They've been doing it for generations, Isa.
You know, in America, we have a thing called Child Protective Services. If kids were being told this, the social workers are going to take them out of the house.
Jews lie and say that it's their temple, like Alska, like the Jews used to have a temple underneath, is under that. They're lying. They're taught that it was never there. The Jewish temple was never there. Oh, what do you think about the Jews? Oh, I hate the Jews. They teach us that the Zionists are our enemy. Oh, really?
Didn't it say somewhere in the Bible that it would be better to tie a millstone around your neck and
around
throw
there.
yourself in the sea?
Oh, yeah,
as
the
opposed to-
Jews are the terrorists.
Yeah.
The Jews are the terrorists. Look at here. Did you catch that? Is the Jews are the terrorists.
Here's
Yes.
kind of the thing on this. First of all, this is a UN run school, so our taxpayers are going.
UNRWA, yeah.
Yeah, but more importantly, okay, when the Muslims say or the
Oh,
Palestinians
whoa,
say,
catch it with this kid. No, did you just see that? Look what he said. 11 years old, 12 years old. I want to run over with my car. This is what they're teaching them. You'll fight what? Who are you going to fight? You're going to fight what? I will run. Oh, I'm going to run their car. I'm going to constantly stab them. Shoot them. Stabbing and running over Jews. And what does it do? It brings dignity to the Palestinians. Oh, I'm going to run over them and stab them with knives. Look at this.
You know, in our country,
I'm prepared to be a suicide bomber. Oh, I will fight for ISIS. All right.
Yeah.
Way to go, buddy. With Allah's help, of course. Sorry, Sharon.
Oh, well, in our country, you know, they're allowing the propaganda of Islam to be taught in schools. That's why there's a growing anti-Semitism in a lot of universities because, you know, the Muslim Brotherhood started infiltrating that in the 1960s. But, you know, they got a lot of schools going now that they're teaching that in our country and nobody's stopping it. In fact,
it's being taught in the universities. I mean, you look at what was being done at Harvard. I mean, these are supposed to be the wizards of smart. These are supposed to be some of the most discerning students in our country. These are supposed to, in order to get in Harvard, you have to be a whiz bang. And look what they're teaching their kids, and look what they're teaching them there, and look what these people at Harvard are doing. They're supporting. I mean, why don't they just? My opinion is why don't you just grab swastikas and put them to flip on? Why don't you just do? Because in order to perpetuate the Holocaust, you had to have this mindset that these people are saying at these universities today. This is the mindset they had. The Jews are evil. It doesn't matter what the Hamasholes did to them, whether they went into their rooms, shot them in their beds, burned them to death. It doesn't matter. Women, children, little babies, that doesn't matter. It's the Jews who are evil. Now, and also notice one other thing. When they protest, they don't say it's the Israelis. They say it's the Jews. And what is amazing is that this facade that they have put out there, that it's all about the land, about the Palestinian land, that is a lie from the pit of hell. And the reason why we know it is a lie, is because nobody complained when Jordan was given its territory under that after the British Mandate. Nobody complained an iota. Nobody complained about Egypt gaining that land. Nobody complained about Syria gaining their land. Nobody complained about Lebanon having their land. Nobody complained about that. The only one that they complained about was when the Jews accepted anything that they were going to give. Every single agreement they were offered, they said yes. And the Arabs said no. Let me be more specific about this. The Muslims said no. And when they finally are awarded a sliver of land, I have a slide on this that I want to show you. When they're finally awarded a sliver of land, the whole Muslim world freaks out. No, we can't have that. Nobody complained when Jordan got all their land. Nobody complained when the Egyptians got all their land. Nobody complained about the Syrians. Nobody complained about the Lebanese. No. The only people they complained about was the Jews. So this idea that it's about land is a flipping lie. This is what. Let me show you this.
As a matter of fact, there's no place that there's no borders for Palestine. There's never been any place laid out that says this is Palestine.
No, you're absolutely right. There's no place that's ever been Palestine. You're absolutely right.
Eric, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for what you said. I'm just so bothered.
About what? I don't understand either. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it was just spinning. The screen was spinning. I was going to say, I've been just so bothered by just like the massive anti-Semitism. It's like, if anybody else does it, it's okay. But when a Jew does it, it's not okay. And it really bothers me. Like, I always have to bring up my favorite country of all time, Pakistan. It's the same country as Israel. It's pretty much the same place as Israel. Created in 1948, British, a homeland for a religious minority. Everything's the same. No one complains about Pakistan. I don't see one complaint. They've done a genocide in 1971. 3 million people died. 3 million of the same Muslim people died in East Pakistan, which is called Bangladesh now. No one talks about the sex trafficking that happens in Bangladesh. I'm very upset about this. No one ever talks about this, but we pretend, it's no big deal. It's not a problem, because, they're poor. I'm like, no. What about the abuse of little boys in Peshawar? No one's talking about that. What about the cut and run policy of the Baluchi people in Baluchistan, which is in southern Pakistan? No one talks about it. What about the Kashmiri conflict of the Kashmir, Jammu and the Azra Kashmir? No one's talking about that. No one talks about any of this stuff. But oh my gosh, a Jew did something. It's the worst thing ever of all time. It bothers me so deeply.
Go ahead.
I'm very upset. And every time I go somewhere, I get to hear, look how bad Jews are. Look how horrible they are. They're just the worst people of all time. And I'm like, can we look at all these other countries? What about like people of the LGBTQIA plus community? What happens to them? They're killed in many of these places. What happens to atheists?
They die.
What happens to minorities? What happens to Christians?
They die.
What happens to Sikh?
They die.
And no one's talking about these people. And then you said, wow, the Palestinians are suffering. And I'm like, yes, I believe the Palestinians are suffering. But I'm like, there's a terrible thing that happened. Can we look at the context of what happened? No one wants to talk about that. So, I mean, it's very upsetting to me,
Well, if you want to look at the when we start talking about people are so quick to jump and blame the Jews, take a look what happened last week. Remember last week they had those Hamasholes shooting off rockets, or actually I think it was Islamic Jihad shot off a rocket, and they make these rockets out of sewer pipes, so they're not the most reliable munitions that an army can possess, and it fizzles out, falls, and lands outside of a hospital, burns the parking lot to pieces. I don't know how many people it killed, but then they claim 500 people were killed in the hospital and said it was a Jewish bombing. And look what the entire world ran to. The entire narrative was pushed to the press, and look what the press did with it. So quick to blame the Jews for doing something, like so quick to want civilian casualties. They need this to foment this hatred that's being perpetuated across the globe. And what turns out? It turns out that the Israelis, they brought pictures of what happened, of the rocket falling short. They track this with their satellites. And they also have a recording of these two terrorists talking to each other, telling each other, yeah, it was us. It was one of our rockets. Well, blame the Jews. Okay, so that's what they did. And guess what the entire establishment media did? They ran with this story. And the next thing you know, we have this day of rage of where you have to protest the Jews. Well, the Jews didn't do anything other than sit there and die a week before this. And what do they want to do? They want to blame the Jews for this. So quick.
I want to
So quick to
go
blame
back
them.
and comment on those kids real quick.
Yeah,
So
go
as I
ahead.
was saying, so that's an Umar school, but more importantly, think about this. When they say we're killing children and they're not Hamas, but yet they are spouting the indoctrination of Hamas, then aren't they Hamas? Do you see what I'm saying? It's like they weaponize their children now. And then when their children get killed because of their own incompetence and child abuse, somehow that's Israel's fault. Again, these people are just total 100% hypocrites. By the way, that's all I wanted to say on that.
Yeah. Well, when we look at the children being used in this, they're using them as pawns, and we know that what they're doing is they're using these people as pawns. These people, they don't give two ripping rats rear ends about these civilians in the Gaza. If they did, when they wouldn't be shooting rockets into Israel. If they, because what that does is it requires Israel to respond, because Israel, if they do not respond, and if you think of the response of the Israelis, for crying out loud, if it hadn't been for the Iron Dome, Israel would have to get medieval with these people. But Israel is just like, they're slapping these rockets down because they have the iron. This amazing technology they have. They're able to treat Hamas with almost like kid gloves. Because if any other country had done that to any other country, the country that was receiving those rockets would be up in their, they would have tanks rolling in the next day. But this has been going on for years. So you look at the Israelis and how they're treating this, or how they've treated it in the past. They're like, no big deal. These guys are just a nuisance. Well, when you shoot 7,500 rockets at you, and then you send an entire army into across that fence into lower Israel, and you end up killing 1,400 people, taking over 200 people hostage. Now you have to respond. You have no choice. And one of the things that I was looking at, and a lot of this has to do with just being abjectly humiliated by the Jews. If you look at, let me bring this up here. I was doing some digging this past week, and if you look at the defense budgets for the OIC, this is the Organization for Islamic Conference. This is the voting bloc of 70 plus countries in the UN. And this is their overall budget right here. Let me see if I can get the laser up here. This is their overall budget for all of these countries, militaries, in green here. 174 billion. The Israeli defense budget is 15 billion. The Organization of the Islamic Conference has 1.6 billion men or wait, what is that? Or people in it. Israel has 8 million, 1.6 billion over 8 million. And the OIC has 5.2 million people in their military, and the Israeli army has 160,000 active duty soldiers. So when you look at that, just the numbers alone, you can clearly see that this has nothing to do with Palestinian land. They're using that as a justification to unite them under their common hatred. And their common hatred, we went through this a couple of weeks ago on the show, and we went through all the passages that are in the Quran, the Hadith, the Sirah, that outlines the basis for this hatred. It has nothing to do with land, and it has everything to do with what that putrid soul Muhammad taught them. It teaches them to hate the Jews. And I would also add, if you believe that the Quran is from God, it would be also God teaching them to hate the Jews, hate their fellow human beings. And I just can't get over that. So what we've done for the last week is Rad and I have been emailing each other. Actually, he's been mainly emailing me all these clips from Twitter. It's not called Twitter anymore. It's called X. Does that make any sense? Listen to your website, X. Okay, that makes you money. And one of the I'm sorry. I found it. I got to play this. I'm sorry. Stop this. Let me. No, this isn't the one. There is a video clip here, and this illustrates what these people did at the kibbutzes. And it talks about, this lady talks about, you're not going to be able to hear the audio, are you? This lady talks about what they did, these terrorists did when they went into this kibbutz. Let me see if I can bring this up. Tell me if you can hear it. Can you hear that or no?
No, you have to present the audio and share present the video and the audio in your settings, StreamYard settings.
Okay. Amateur hour. Okay, so stop sharing. Okay, so when I go to present, I'm presenting, sharing my screen, or no?
Yeah, share the whole screen.
Okay, I'm sharing the screen.
And in your settings, what are you using as your sound device?
Okay, where it says to share audio, share a tab or screen instead. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm. Okay. I think I figured out a way to do this. Ed, you're a genius. I won't let anybody else know though. Hold on just a second. Let's okay, and present. So here we go. Horror stories, share, and it's down here. Tell me if you can hear it.
We're actually still moving through the community. It's starting to.
Yep.
Man, look at you, dude. Big brain Ed. Okay, here we go.
It now, but I want to show you just some of the destruction to these houses as well, because as I showed you all of the destruction that these terrorists committed on foot as they bombarded and massacred this community, there were also air raids and rockets happening overhead, completely taking out buildings like this one. So it was really a mixture of everything happening on the ground and in the sky as well, completely devastating this community. Truly horrific images that we're seeing. Now, as we're leaving the community, you can see all of these soldiers here. As I said, so many of them called from their homes, jumping into action at a moment's notice. Many of these reservists leaving all of their families behind to be here to protect Israel's southern border, less than a quarter of a mile away. We continue to hear loud artillery and shelling in the distance at the Gaza border as we're walking out. So really, all of these soldiers are doing their best to protect us the journalists who are also out here because they want us to see exactly what's happening and what they've been witnessing with their own eyes for these past 3 days. Many of them coming here Saturday night, and they knew that no other soldiers had been here yet. And so they kind of knew an idea of what was happening, but no one could expect that it would be like this. The horrors that I'm hearing from these soldiers, as I mentioned earlier, about 40 babies at least were taken out on gurneys. Still, right now, they're going house to house, still evacuating dead bodies, killed
Nicole,
Israeli citizens who were killed
I have to cut in. It's
inside their homes.
such a shocking, jarring statement there. And just for our viewers, we're in a new hour here on the broadcast who very likely weren't with us last hour to understand that you've come in there to find this small community littered.
Okay, so and this is just one kibbutz that they pulled 40 babies out of this. And she goes on to talk about the condition that these children were in, these babies were in, burned, decapitated, their bodies basically mutilated. And this is what we're told is part of the defense of Gaza. This is what the Gazans need to do in order to defend their homeland. That's bullshit. I'm sorry for the line, but that is nothing but BS in its purest form. There's no justification. There's no justification that you can use to slaughter infants in the way that they did, to go in and just machine gun families, to pull girls, young ladies out into Gaza and rape them in the street. There's nothing that you can say that can justify that. But what have we been hearing? What have we been hearing the past 2 weeks? And this is kind of what raised my eyebrow. I was like, well, wait a second. Are you serious? Will people indeed say these things in public and try to justify what these people from Hamas did to these kids, to these people? And the answer is yes. We see it all over. We see it all over social media. We see it on Twitter. We see posts by people justifying this. And our brother Rad has ensured that I have my fair share of these because he sent me an email, and I have that email. And he told me to wait a second. No, I already have it. I don't. Gaffer, you got it right here. I have all of these posts by certain imamas and Muhammad hijabis. So let's go ahead and pull these up and show these, present these. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and present. Okay, Rad, what are we looking at here? Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm here, but we're looking at you, so we're not looking at anything. So.
What was that about?
What?
We were looking at.
Being shared. Yeah.
Oh,
the screen
okay.
was being shared, but now it is.
But that's now it is. Okay, good.
Okay. Well, the first one is from the imam of the strip club, the racist imam. But let's deal with him last. So let's scroll down to let's keep scrolling. Okay. So right there, go up. Muhammad hijab. I find this one interesting. Muhammad hijab on October 5th. Notice the date. He quotes a hadith. On the authority of Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, the Messenger of Allah, peace be on him, said, verily, Allah has pardoned for me my ummah, my people, for their mistakes, their forgetfulness, and that which they have been forced to do under duress. That was on October 5th. Now, I bring this up because this is interesting, because there was another Muslim we used to play with back in the day named Yahya Snow from
Speaker's Corner.
Islam. No, he never went to Speaker's Corner. He was just this Muslim he had a you're thinking different, but he had a he had a blog, so I forgot what it was, the Real Religion. He actually copied David Wood, and David Wood said, I'm gonna sue you if you don't change your background. Anyway, it's kind of funny. But so he had a blog, and I remember the day before the Paris attacks, the Charlie Hebdo attacks,
Mhm.
Yahya posted a script that says, "I'm praying for the people of Paris right now." That was like the day before the Charlie Hebdo attack. Okay. Now I'm thinking these dudes knew. I mean, they didn't know, but I'm sure they were told by people in their circle or people in their online circles saying, pay attention to what's going to happen in Paris. Something big's going to happen. Allah Akbar, the Mujahideen, blah blah blah, and the same thing, with him, oh look what's going to happen in Israel. Pay attention in the next coming days. Something's big's going to happen. You know what I mean? Things like that. Just like I remember when Osama bin Laden got clipped. Okay, I mean we were all told in our sphere, hey, pay attention, something's gonna be announced on the news. It's big. It has to do with Osama. You know what I mean? So we knew like hours before, the announcement was made, or at least in my circle, because we had people that were in the military that were friends. But anyway, but I'm just saying they definitely knew about it. Anyway, pull that document back up. Let's share it. And yeah, I don't believe Kenny's a racist. He likes mostly dark meat chicken, but he is the imam of the strip club.
Okay, hold on.
He's also an idiot.
Hold on. I'm trying to multitask here because Dragon sent me something in chat. Okay, what am I doing? I'm bringing this back up. Okay, yeah, you're right. I got it right there.
Okay, so that was, now look at his post on October 7th. Okay, is there any shock? Is there any, I condemn this? Is there any, no, this is not Islamic. No, they should not have done this. No, look at his response. Do you think Netanyahu is going to give Hamas hell? Or do you think he is going to intentionally bomb the most densely populated civilian area and hide in cowardice behind the fortress walls? The real question is, when will Ben Shapiro accept the debate challenge like a man? Like a man! But do you notice? There's no condemnation. There's no, I'm appalled by this. This is shocking. This shouldn't have happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, why would you expect any of that from two of the biggest ISIS guys that have their faces right out there on YouTube?
Right. No, exactly.
Kenny
Well,
Bomer and Mohammed Hijab.
Well, exactly. Well, no,
Job's
this
been
is
on with Pierce. What's his name?
Pierce Morgan. Yeah.
Morgan. Yeah, the idiot from BBC, and he's been on with him, and he just is promoting Hamas. I mean, saying there's nothing wrong with Hamas attacking. So he not only doesn't say anything against them, he endorses their actions in that interview. Actually,
Well,
I think there's two interviews. Too.
Oh, go ahead, pull it back up here. Well, no.
I've asked over and over and over again what ISIS is doing that Muhammad didn't do, and nobody can tell me.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
They did it. He did it. They did it just what Muhammad told them.
So going back to the Pierce Morgan thing, yeah. So he goes on Pierce Morgan, and Pierce Morgan asks, "Do you condemn what Hamas has done?" And he feigns it. He says, "Absolutely, I condemn the killing of all innocent civilians." But then he says, "But you got to prove that this happened." So in other words, show us the proof, show us the dead babies. We want our jihad porn.
Well,
and when you do show it, yeah, right.
There's another word there, Rad. He used the word innocent.
Right.
He's talking about he's only talking about the word Muslim. Right. So Pierce didn't catch that, which is bad.
Well, Pierce doesn't know though. Pierce doesn't come to the show.
He does. He knows. He's heard it more.
He knows. Okay, he knows that when they differentiate between innocents,
they're
only referring to Muslims. Non-Muslims are not innocent. Jews are not innocent.
Yeah.
You're saying Pierce knows that?
He should. There's no excuse for him not knowing it. He's heard it.
Well, he doesn't know a lot of
the other idiot has been on his. He should know. There's no excuse.
I agree with that.
Well, go ahead and pull it back up. Okay, so this one, you complain about the immigration into UK, support one, if not the biggest demographic shifts. Now listen to this, due to transposing of new ethnic majorities into the land of Palestine. If it's okay for European Jews to take over a Muslim nation, then surely the opposite should be justified. So what he's clearly saying is here, yes, he wants all the Muslims to come into the UK, and yes, they can take over England now. They can take over the UK. That is clearly what he is saying. No holds
That is the
barred.
goal of the Hijra. That is exactly
Yep,
it.
that is what he's saying. So they're basically telling you exactly what they're going to do, and nobody seems to be listening. Anyway, continue on.
Hold on, I want to pull up a fact here. 75% of the Jews that are in Israel today are born in Israel. 19% of the Jewish immigrants are from Europe. Did you catch that? 19%. He's talking about 19%. The majority of the Jews that are in Israel today are from Arab nations. And the reason why they're from Arab nations is because they were kicked out of Arab nations when Israel declared their independence. They had nowhere else to go. It isn't like the Holocaust where they didn't have a homeland. Now they do have a homeland. Now they do have someplace to go, so they don't have to worry about being stuck in ovens and gas chambers anymore. This idea, this idea that this is some type of crime committed against a people that was non-existent. I'm sorry, I'm going to call it like it is. These people that we refer to as Palestinians were never a distinct people group. They can take on the title for themselves, and that's fine. I don't care. That's fine. But the fact of the matter is if we were to use the real historical terminology for these people, they would be called the people from Judea and Samaria, not Palestinians. The Palestinians, that term was not given to that land until I think like 136, 137 AD, after the Bar Kava, I think it was called the Bar Kava revolt. And then the Romans further dispersed the Jews after the AD 70 revolt and renamed the land Palestine, the Philistine, the Palestine. It's an insult to Jews to call it that. So to say this the land of Palestine is insulting to Jews. This idea that there were Palestinians. Go ahead, Paul.
I think it should be insulting to the Muslims because, after all, that was named Palestine to insult the Jews. So,
right, yeah, and so they're taking on that. Yeah.
So all you Muslims, hello, new Jews.
Yeah, so this idea that it was ever a land for them is absolutely ridiculous. But once you start going forward in history, after the Crusades, what, 1099 to 1291, so they're occupied, quote unquote, by Europeans. Then after that, it's I can't remember the Islamic group, Mullah, something like that. And then it was up to 1517, the Ottoman Empire takes it over. Nobody called that place or ruled it under a specific government ruled by Palestinians. But now all of a sudden they're all butthurt because it's ruled by Jews, and Jews are there. This is the only get this idea of it's about land out of your mind. It's never been the case, and it's not the case today. They are using this as a pretense. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Where's the river? The Jordan River is the eastern border of Israel. Where is the sea? The western border of Israel. And what is going to be free? All that area in between. They're free of what? Free of Jews. How are they going to get rid of the Jews? They're either going to have to commit genocide, just like 1941 to 45 all over again, or they're going to have to ethnically cleanse them from the land. That's the only thing that they want. To try to say that this is anything different is absolutely absurd. It's an abject ignorance of history is what it is. All right, yeah. Brad, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Whoever was going to come up.
Well, I was just going to say.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that, this isn't the only people that the Muslims have done this to. The Armenians, anybody,
right.
Spain, the Crusades was not an offensive. It was a defensive. People get this all mixed up. The Crusades was an answer to a Muslim invasion, taking over Christian lands. They were raping their women, killing their men for hundreds of years. And the Crusades was the answer that was the pushback, was the
Right.
answer to that.
I agree 100%. And when we start talking, is Issa still here? Issa's left. But we've had this argument saying that do you think the Crusades were justified? Well, let's, if you evaluate it, for 400 years, for 500 years, the Muslims had taken over 2/3 of Christendom, and nobody said boo. Nobody nobody, they didn't fight back, or they weren't successful when they fought back. But when they finally do fight back, it's an evil crusaders. How dare they push back on us Muslims? How dare they insult us? It's just like some of these tweets we see here that Red's going to talk about. How dare the Israelis fire missiles back at us? Who are they? They're nothing but Jews. They're the worst creatures according to their God. Red, go. Or Paul, did you have something to say?
Yeah, can you pull up Nicodemus Serpco's comment? I've been saying this for nearly a decade.
Which one? Nicodemus is what? I've been saying this. Okay, yeah, got it. Yep.
Yeah. So for those of you unaware, Oriana Fallaci and Yat Beor documented this move into Europe.
Yep.
This starts, Oriana Fallaci has this documented highly, and Bat Yaor in Oriana's, I think it's her blue or red book, she talks about how the two of them got together. Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That it's in there. Okay, it's in Eurabia, and she talks about how the two of them got together and discussed what was actually happening and how Europe had betrayed the rest of the governing body of Europe as a whole. The businessmen had betrayed the rest of Europe by taking people in from Islamic countries as cheap labor. Yeah,
and this is what they get. And look at France. Okay,
yeah. Bill Warner.
Yep.
Everybody ever heard of him? Yeah,
nope.
Bill Warner. He has a PhD in Islam, and he has made several videos. He's released several books. He's published several books about political Islam.
Yeah, I have several of them here, and a lot of them they're real easy. They're not thick. They're not hard reads. They're not heavy lifts.
Nope.
I'd have to go digging through my thing here, but I got most of them on my Kindle.
I posted his YouTube link right here in the private chat.
Yep. Okay.
All right, go ahead and pull it up.
All right.
Because we got a bunch more to go through.
I know. Would you quit interrupting us? What are you doing?
What happened to DL?
DL probably DL's got a life. Okay.
All right. So look at this. So here's another one on October 8th. Okay. I think I speak for the overwhelming vast majority of the Palestinian side when I say that the death of any non-combatant man, woman, or especially child, whether Jewish or Christian or any other faith, is a tragedy which we do not celebrate but commiserate. Really, you just played the video early on, right? Where we were seeing them celebrate.
Yeah.
Just like we did at 9/11. You know what I mean? So that's basically just, all of a sudden, after all of his other tweets, basically stoking the fires of war and blaming the Israelis, then all of a sudden it must have come out where this is a horrible thing. And so now he has to, just for, what do you call it? Just for cover, actually say
he's saving face. He's trying to save face is all he's doing.
Exactly.
No, these people are in the streets celebrating. They don't feel any type of empathy or sympathy for the Jewish people at all. What they're doing is they're putting on a face, trying to cover their asses.
10/7 is 9/11.
Actually,
it is a 9/11. I remember.
It's worse
9/11.
than that, Issa. It's worse than that, Issa, because if you do the ratio, what do we call that? Where you do the number of Americans compared to the number of Jews. Americans killed on 9/11, 3,000. Jews killed on 10/7, 1,400. But if you do it per capita, we got 330 million people in our country. They have 9 million. It comes out to be like 52,000 if this was going to be an American 9/11. So this is for the nation of Israel. This is much, much bigger, much, much worse.
And one thing I want to say too is that I think everyone on this call, everyone who's watching, cares about Palestinians. We care about the Christians, the Muslims, the Druze. We don't want any of these people to be murdered or to die in this situation. We don't want any of that to happen. And I think that this is the tragedy that we keep seeing it at school, where people are like, oh, free Palestine. I'm like, 1,400 people just died. Do you not feel anything for these people? It's like, no. And then I heard videos, like people that I've known, they posted and said, well, every single person is involved. It doesn't matter if they're a civilian, because the IDF, you are a soldier. So there is no innocent person. I'm like, you're sick. You're a sick person. And I mean, if you really want to believe that, no one is going to support you or your cause. No one is going to validate your cause if you're going to take that position. It's a disgusting, gross position. And then to say the open air prison, I'm like, okay, there are complications. We have reservations in the United States. There are complications with nation states. The thing is, we need to be solutions based, not hate based. We need to figure out ways to make lives better. And this is the thing. This is not about making lives better. It's about making lives worse. And that's where I'm just like very upset about the whole thing,
Well, when you hear people that you thought were your friends, the people that you thought you were trusted, when these types of things happening, this is where people's real colors show, and these where they come through. And when you come down on the side of an issue, like they have, saying that, well, you have to look at this from Hamas's point of view. No, I don't have to look at this from the point of view of people who go into the homes of innocent civilians, and you're trying to equate these people to be like, let's say, soldiers that the Israelis have. What are you showing here, Paul? What is it? What are these things?
Well, these are some great books on the Hijra. The Strange Death of Europe by Douglas Murray, Muslim Travelers, Pilgrimage, Migration, and the Religious Imagination by Dale Eichelman, Oriana Fallaci's The Rage and Pride, pick it up. Her blue book, The Force of Reason, pick it up. This is real stuff, people. The Immigration Threat. This is a really old book. I think it was like 1990s it was published.
Okay, or Paul, what I'll do is in chat, I'll put I'll put my home address there, and you can just mail them to me.
Yeah, I mean, we basically been importing terrorism into our country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A lot of this,
and that's why it's the only reason we're having these reprisals in these places. They're all Muslims. Majority of them have mommies and daddies who came over here, or they came themselves.
I'm gonna lay a big, huge chunk of that at ex-President Obama's feet.
He's one that said he wanted to fundamentally transform the United States. If you want to fundamentally change the country, why would you want to fundamentally change the country? That if you want to be its president, you want to make it a different country, you want to be a country of a different, or be a president of a different country.
He wanted it to be Sharia run. I mean, this is Barry Soetoro.
Okay, we could do a whole 12 hours on Old Bear. Okay, Rad, are you still there? Where are you doing?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, what are we doing? What's next?
Pull it up. Okay, so scroll down. There's a big one. You can go back. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, here we go. What makes them heroic? That they bomb civilian populations every 2 to 3 years, killing thousands and keeping the rest as hostages in an open-air prison called Gaza? Or they cannot even stop their own civilians and military men being taken hostage by those hostages? Now,
didn't we hear that from certain imam? Hostages taking hostages.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah,
sounds to me like he's a repeater, not a reader. Or he's a reader and he's repeating what he reads. Mr. Non-original thought himself. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Okay. All right. No, that's fine. So here's a couple things I just want to point out here. So notice he leaves out the whole reason why Israel bombs them. They bombed them because they're getting rockets fired at them. Seriously, it's like they sit there and say, these are the type of people that will come up and punch you in the face, and they sit and then say, "Here are my terms for peace, and how dare you fight me back?"
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They are the perpetual victims. Okay, but go ahead,
Well,
pull
this
it
is
up. We
what-
got some more. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let's see. There's no Israel. There's no Israel in 1947. Yes, there was.
Hold on. Wait.
Uh,
Wait. Before
Oh, I'm sorry.
1947.
No,
No, pull it up. Pull it up.
no, there's
There
no
was-
Israel in 1947. Yes, there was.
Well, okay, so I think you meant to say before 1947, but that's fine. But you know what?
Mm.
There also wasn't. There was also no Palestine either.
Right,
So
yeah, there you
his
go.
point is no. Yeah. And when
Great
scroll
point.
down, scroll down.
Anybody
There's
ever
one,
heard
but
of the
you can go
Balfour
past that one.
Declaration?
Yep, Balfour.
Anybody ever
Yep,
heard of the
sure.
Balfour
Balfour,
Declaration?
1922. Yep.
1917, actually.
You can scroll past that big one.
Like what's
I don't know why I put that in there, but yeah, that was something else. But yeah.
Okay.
But there's some other goodies here. Oh, so he is like him and all these guys. They are seriously tech-fearing people that dare to stand against Hamas. So this other one, even though your family are stuck in Gaza, you've been able some of the courage to say one word condemnation against Israel because your slave masters will be upset. We all knew that you were a rift of true Islamic faith, but now it can be confirmed you are a total emasculated slave. I didn't get who that was for, but he's actually tech-fearing Muslims left and right on this one. Okay. Here's this one. This is brilliant. When people say that Israel has a right to defend itself, can I understand exactly what is meant? Is what you mean that Israel has a right to go face to face with Hamas? Or is what is meant they have a right to aerial bombardment which disproportionately affects women and children? Okay, so a couple things on that one. Okay, real quickly here. First of all, it is Hamas who is hiding in tunnels right now. Hamas doesn't want to face the Israeli military face to face. Okay, that is key in their tactics. They're hiding in tunnels. They're firing rockets. They don't want that. Okay, so that's point number one. But point number two, okay, I mean, no, he says this over and over in the tweets. All of them are, this is disproportionately, it's killing Muslims disproportionately to Israelis. What does he want? Does he want the Israelis only to kill the exact same amount of Palestinians and to rape the same amount of Palestinian women and kill the exact same amount and behead the exact same amount of Palestinian children? And then he would be fine? No. War is definitely, ought to be definitely disproportionate. I want my side to be disproportionately overwhelming to the other side. Am I right, Eric? I mean,
Yes, yeah, I would rather see more dead enemies of our country than American soldiers.
Hey, Eric,
Exactly.
when you were over there, did we ever once warn people we were going to bomb the hell out of you? And, to the point where we dropped leaflets, we warned people to get out of Dodge. Did we ever do that while you were there?
We warned if we were going to, for example, if we were going to put up a new security apparatus in a region, what we would do is we would have a conference with the local sheikhs and mullahs and say, we are coming into this region right here. Do not send your police forces out, or make sure that you tell whatever assets that you do have here in the region that we are in fact going to do this, and any type of resistance, be it political or military, will be met with force. We would tell them if we were doing it. Now, as far as when we went and
Now, these were supposed to be your allies, though. These aren't supposed to be your enemies, correct?
Right, yeah. But if we were going to go snatch somebody up in the middle, no, you're not telling anybody. You don't even tell your interpreter until you're on the aircraft.
So
and you're
you
en
saw
route.
that the head of Hamas has said to the people in Gaza, for no reason, you should not leave. Doesn't matter what your sacrifice is, you should not leave, even though they've been told we're going to bomb the hell out of you. Even though they told we're going to have an offensive that you're not going to forget.
Well, if they leave, what does that leave them as far as their Pallywood, their pictures, and the things that they want for the cameras? They don't have any children, dead children. So if all the children and women and children leave, where the Israelis have said, go down here, we won't. You don't have tunnels in southern Gaza, or at least there's not as many tunnels. All the tunnels are up north, and that's where the hostages are at. So if you go down south, then we'll provide you food, water, all that stuff. You'll be safe down there. But if you stay up north, then you are going to be subjected to direct fire. And you're exactly right. What do the Hamasholes do? They say you don't go anywhere, and if you do go anywhere, we'll kill you. Well, what kind of government does that? Now think of what this Hamas government did. This is a government. When you look at who's the head of Fatah, what's his name? He was elected in 2006, 2007 to a
Fatah
4-year...
is the name. He's over the PLO.
Yeah. Okay. So whoever this was that they elected in 2007, 2008 was elected for 4 years.
That's Fatah that I got.
And the same thing with Hamas. They haven't had election in 16 years, 18
Well, they
years.
really don't have elections. They just
they haven't even come in and pretended to have an election, and yet they're the ones that are sitting there pointing fingers at the Israelis, saying that you're an apartheid state, you're a country that doesn't respect individual rights and liberties, but yet they themselves will not subject themselves to elections. And the only reason why they're still in power is because they're ruling at the point of a gun. It's not complicated. We gonna add anything to that, Paul, or are we gonna be moving?
No,
on?
I think it's just here the big thing to think about when people make this accusation. You can be Muslim and be elected to the Knesset, which is the equivalent of our Congress. You can hold a position in government. There's no
yeah. And they do have Muslims in the Israeli government. You're right.
Yeah. So if it's an apartheid state, you shouldn't be, then you wouldn't have a right to vote. So this is the insanity. I think nobody should be allowed to be taught lies, and at least through the United States and through Western society, they think it's good to teach lies about Israel, so it supports the Islamic narrative. People, start waking up. Go find out if it's true for yourself. Go visit Israel, please.
Do you guys know that the word Hamas appears in the Bible?
Yes.
Yeah, and you know what it means?
Violence.
Exactly.
Violence.
Where in the Bible is Hamas? I'm gonna look this one
up. Let me see.
It's a Hebrew word in the.
It's in Genesis 6:11 is where it first appears.
Okay. But this is a Hebrew word, is what I'd be.
Yeah, it's a Hebrew word, Hamas. Yes,
Hebrew word.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right, I'll pull it up. Rad, are you still with us? Hello. Radical moderate going
Kind
on.
of funny. It's even kind of funny. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight. Genesis 6:11. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, is that what? Oh, that. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying then. Okay. Yes, this is Noah.
Well, it says, now the earth was corrupt in God's sight and was full of violence. Hamas.
Hamas is the word for violence.
Here we go. I've got it. You want me to share it?
Yeah, go ahead. Stop screen share. Where are you at, Paul? I don't see it. There we go. Hamas. Kalmase. What the heck? Masculine noun. Let's see. Violent. Vigilant. Let's see. Violent. Cruelty. Wrong. False. Cruel. Damage. Boy, those are some. Injustice. Oppressor. Boy, that sounds like a very applicable language right there.
I think the thing we also need to communicate every time we talk about Hamas is this is just a chapter of the Muslim Brotherhood, which is in your local area. No matter where you live in the world, just about these days, there is a Hamas. There is a chapter of the Muslim Brotherhood. The Al Qaeda is part of the Muslim Brotherhood. The Hamas is part of the Muslim Brotherhood. ISIS was part of the Muslim Brotherhood. Name something that's not. That is an Islamic terror group. There is not one that exists that is not part of the Muslim Brotherhood.
When you look at the, what was I going to say? The Muslim MSA, Muslim Student Association. They're a offshoot of the Muslim Brotherhood also. Okay, let's go ahead and bring this back up. We'll go through some of these Muhammad Hijabi tweets. If Palestine had the military capability of Israel, which they do not even close. And the reason, and this is what was reported to my school board. I made this comment about I read a peer-reviewed paper, the findings of a peer-reviewed paper, how the average IQ of people that live in Muslim majority countries is 19 points lower. I think it was like 81 is the average IQ.
81 to 77, I think.
Yeah, it was just amazing low. And what causes that? What could possibly cause that type of drop in human intelligence? And it's because of sanguinity. What?
You're not allowed to read. You're not allowed to get educated.
I think a lot of
I think
it has
that-
to do with marrying your first cousin. I mean, you definitely
I would
lose
go
a lot
another-
of genes if you practice that for generation after generation after generation. And when we start talking about, let me just finish this train of thought, Paul, and I'll get to you. Because what he's lamenting here is that as the Palestine had the military capability of Israel, it would be, and here's why they don't. The reason why they don't have the military capability of Israel is because they don't place, number one, the same value on human life as Israelis do. The Israelis learned after the Holocaust that every single life has value. So their military, the way it is structured and the way it is built, is to protect human life, preserve human life at all costs. The second reason is because they have, I mean, the technology and the amount of investment that they make, not in building tunnels to go attack people, not tearing up sewer systems to build rockets, the amount of money that they invest in their education and in technology is off the chart. So it's just a disproportional application of where you spend your dollars. That's all it is. And they want to complain that, well, Palestine doesn't have the same type of military capability. And the reason why is because they're not allowed to. Think of all the billions of dollars that have been given in aid to these Palestinians. How many billions of dollars have they poured in there to assist them? And what have they spent it on? Well, Yasser Arafat was worth almost $1 billion when he died. Well, where do you think he got that money? Do you think he made wise investments in, Gaza real estate or something? No, he embezzled it. And this is the problem with a lot of them, is that they are just so pathetically corrupt not only in their politics, but they're corrupt in their soul.
And Yasser Arafat was Egyptian, by the way.
Yeah, he wasn't a Palestinian. Yeah.
Exactly.
When we did that show a couple weeks ago, where we were showing
just like his buddy Muhammad Hijab.
Al-Husseini. He was the pupil of Al-Husseini, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, the guy that was a Nazi collaborator. That's Yasser Arafat. Dragon has posted something here, and I told her I would show it. I'm sorry, I haven't got sidetracked here, but she wanted me to show this video clip. She showed two of them. There's two of them here that she wants me to show. One of them is the phone call. I don't know if you guys need to see that, but this one, I think she wanted me to show. What is this? YouTube window. Let's just show this. Okay. Here we go. You guys can see that. Here we go. Hold on. Can you hear it?
No,
Not yet.
I don't think there's any sound with it. Hold on.
This one, I think initially there's no sound, so it comes up a bit later, I think.
Here we go. There. No. Okay, so somebody obviously got slaughtered in their bed there.
Here's something else I'm going to tell you, is that these guys go to great lengths to make fake movies as well of people pretending to play dead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
Don't
Hollywood.
believe everything you see. Mm-hmm.
So this is Israel. This is Israelis though that are being slaughtered. They're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, slaughtered by Hamas terrorists. Yeah. Look. Okay. Now look at. This is the crib. This is the flipping crib, and what's all over it?
Blood.
You sick son of a. Yeah. You just. You can't take it.
Goes too far. It's hard to.
No, you can't. I mean, you just who could possibly do this to another
I'll
human
tell
being?
you who. Here we go. This was in Palestinian Media Watch. They paid. I want you to think about this. Every single one of these idiots that took part, or all those ones that got killed. We're just talking about the ones who got killed. Hamas blanks who attacked Israel. Every one of their families got paid $1,511 automatically. And then till the family dies off, they get $353. That's just for the ones who got killed. All right. Their families get paid $353 a month for life, for as long as they live. Now, if they go to jail, they also get money. They get caught. I mean, so they get money while they're there. So you think about this. That's required. It's a law under the Palestinian Authority. So they have to pay all these idiots. That's why they don't have the schools. Yes, the UN does fund it. Yes, the US does fund it. Yes, the Europeans do fund it. Everyone who gives money to Palestinians funds it. They can't control where the money is spent because they're giving it to a government entity or a non-government entity that has connections to these groups. And they should not be giving a penny. Trump figured that out. 2018, we went down to zip. We didn't give them zip after that.
Yeah.
So it was a bad choice to give.
And there was very little of the Palestinians dying. Interesting. So there's actually a recording. Well, I mean, it pays to be a dead Palestinian. Dead Palestinians are worth more than live ones, evidently, according to Palestinians. Shocking. I mean, no, they love their
exactly.
Dead Palestinians.
That's what they're saying. Exactly.
They really love their dead Palestinians.
It's amazing how they put a price tag on them, though.
Exactly. There's actually an interview. I don't know, maybe someone in the chat can find it. It was just recently posted, like last week, where they're talking to one of the Hamas leaders, and he's saying exactly how they did it, how they planned it, and everything, how it was super top secret.
Yeah.
But but the thing that he says though is really telling. He said, "Well, for 5 years, we convinced the Israelis that we were busy governing our people when we weren't. We were preparing for this."
Yeah.
So they had no interest in governing their people. They had no interest in providing resources, providing food, providing job opportunities, providing infrastructure. No, their whole thing was, we're going to kill a bunch of Jews someday, and we're going to say Allah Akbar. We're going to say it's great. It is a good thing we did. I mean, and seriously, and people are defending this. People are making the moral equivalent of Israel responding. No, there is no moral equivalence.
Okay, Slam RN just posted in the chat.
Yeah, there's an article on Capped Again, how it's being used. It was used by Hamas to get their people to go and kill and slaughter for this event. They all had, those who got caught had Capped Again in their pockets.
Right. Yeah.
In their pants pockets.
This is this is an email that I got from the Great American Line of Dawa, saying Allah Akbar, how brave they were, and what going in and we're not afraid to die, looking down the barrel. And the reason why is you have to drug yourself to get you into this aggressive state. If you put a sandbag over your head, you cry like everybody else. Let's be honest here. There's no bravery in killing innocent people, unarmed civilians. There's nothing Mujahideen of any kind would do something like this or support this. But yet we have self-proclaimed ones out there saying that, oh, this is the greatest thing.
Wait, are you saying they were drugged? They had something on them? What was that?
It's a drug. It's an amphetamine. It pumps you up, and it also has an effect to take away
your senses.
Yeah, it heightens your senses, but it makes you. It's kind of like an alcohol thing where it makes you braver than what
makes
you
you brave.
Yeah. So I let me see if I can find it.
Takes away your moral compass is the best way I can put it.
You would have to do that. Treatment of intensive narcolepsy. Let's see here. This is a drug Hamas took. Okay, here it is. Hamas carried out surprise attacks. Let me just put it up here on the screen. Why don't you just do that, Kaffer? That way everybody doesn't have to listen to you babble on here. Let's invite present it. Here we go. Okay. Here it is. Okay, so this is the drug Hamas. Where did it go? I thought, why isn't it up on the screen? There we go. Okay. This is the drug Hamas took to help spot the Jews. Okay. Why is my system?
Yeah, that's the article I read.
Okay. It was found to be under the influence of Captagon, a synthetic amphetamine type stimulant that has been clandestinely produced in southern Europe and trafficked through Turkey to the consumer markets on the Arabian Peninsula. The pill was recovered from pockets of many terrorists. The stimulant, known as cocaine for the poor, allowed terrorists to commit heinous acts with a sense of calmness and indifference. Simultaneously, it kept them highly alert for extended periods and suppressed their appetite. It was used by ISIS, evidently, and its primary effects include euphoria, reducing the need for sleep, suppressing appetite, and providing sustained energy. So this is what an amphetamine does, but the emotional things, where it says what did it say? It suppresses calmness and indifference.
Wait. Drinking booze and eating pork is haram, but you can take the synthetic amphetamine to go out and slaughter Jews.
I see what you're doing. Yeah.
No, you can drink booze before you go on a jihad. It's allowed.
Yeah. And you can get lap dances too.
Here's the other thing.
Anything before jihad, because you're gonna get forgiven.
Now I'm going to show the complete and total hypocrisy of Islam right here, because Islam purports that the Quran says that it confirms the Torah and the Gospel, and the Torah in Exodus 20 specifically says, "Thou shalt not murder," and they are murdering in cold blood.
Right. Yeah.
And you're going against your own Quran when you do this, people. Right?
Where does the Quran say that you should not murder? Where does the Quran say that?
Well, the Quran says it confirms the Torah and the Gospel, right?
Well, that's you're stealing the
I'm stealing
the thesis statements from my new book.
Your fire. Yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Then it turns around and says, "Oh, but by the way, you can go ahead and kill it." Anyway.
Yeah, it says what we come to confirm when it does nothing but contradict.
Right. And Al-Fadi puts it the best. He says it's the Quran-tradiction.
Yep. Okay, Rad, do you want to continue with these, or where are we at?
Sure. Go ahead, pull it up. Let's see what we got here.
I took it down. I've been jumping back and forth all day trying to keep up with you guys. You guys are wearing me out, which is okay. All right, go.
All right, let me see here what you got up here. Hold on. Okay. Israel conducted your mama. No, scroll down, keep going. We can skip over that. Are the ones who dropped the bombs? No, scroll down. Okay. Oh yeah, so this is where he's denying that babies his brave drug addict Hamas buddies didn't kill any babies. So again, show me the proof. They show you the proof, and they say no, I don't believe that proof. But anyway, scroll down.
How is this a debate?
Oh, he was talking to Piers Morgan. Yeah, he was talking to Piers Morgan.
But I don't remember that being a debate.
No, it wasn't. It was just Hamas making himself look like a jackass.
I guess he's still living at the time when David Wood kicked his butt in that debate.
Yeah. Okay, Ibn Abbas. He's the leader of Fatah. Am I right on this? He took over for not Ibn Abbas. What was this guy? Mahmoud Abbas. Mahmoud Abbas takes over for Yasser Arafat after he assumes room temperature. He has a PhD. Are you guys aware of this? I didn't know this.
PhD in what?
he has in Islamic studies, and his dissertation. His dissertation was denying the Holocaust.
It's kind of hard to do, seeing as how we found all the bodies and the graves and all that other
Okay,
stuff.
so well, the point I'm trying to make here is that you have this same type of mental gymnastics that people like Muhammad Hijabi do here. And here's what he says: decisive evidence. Well, what serves as evidence? Well, any evidence that you would provide and that you show is never going to be accepted because of the source. You're never going to trust the source. If the Israelis come out and they say, okay, here is a dead baby, right here, dead baby. News reporters of the world, look, dead baby. This baby was killed by these Hamasholes. Yes, everybody agrees. Then it gets to Muhammad Hijab. That's not decisive. That's not conclusive. How do you know that the Israelis didn't invent that? How do you know that this was just wasn't a baby that was killed in a car accident? This is what these kinds of people do. This is the type of mental gymnastics you have to go through, just like Mahmoud Abbas had to go through writing a dissertation to deny that the Holocaust happened. They will deny. It's just like, I hear no evil, see no evil, speak all these things. This is exactly what they do.
But wait a minute. My dad was in World War II. He was a POW for about a year in World War II, and right as he was getting out, they had found the ovens and the gas chambers and all that stuff that the Germans had done to kill all these people in. They even had pictures of all the boxcars of people that they were hauling into these places.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were even witnesses that said, yes, this happened. I mean, there was this whole big thing after World War II.
Well, this is why Eisenhower dragged the Germans out of their homes into those camps and made them see for themselves, so they would know personally that this was not something that was being invented by the conquering powers. That they would know that this is your army. These are your soldiers that did this to every human being. Right.
Exactly.
Well, evidently, this type of evidence isn't good enough for Muhammad Hijab.
Well, I'm sorry, my dad was in the war, and he told me that's exactly what happened.
That's all you need. That's primary source data right there. You don't get better than that. Yep. All right, what else you got? We did this, Mim. We did this. We showed that Mein Kampf is one of the most popular gifts given on Eid at the end of Ramadan. It's the most popular gift.
But Muslims love Hitler, huh?
Yeah. All right,
yeah,
Brad.
Eric.
Yep. Go.
Yeah, could you put up the StreamYard link in the chat real quick for Nicodemus?
The what? Nicodemus?
StreamYard, for Nicodemus, yeah.
I can join just to share the link, private chat. To do what again?
He just wants to join.
You just want to join and then drop off.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. Where am I? Stop this. Hide. Too many Christmas invite.
Yeah, Hijab claimed those pictures were made by AI, but then he has no intelligent response to, again, unbiased sources saying they are not generated. He can't. There's nothing.
Right.
Hijab doesn't listen to anything he's told. That's he. This is the problem. I was going to say this is the problem with education in Islamic countries. You're not allowed to question anything.
Well,
you move to another country and you're allowed to question everything.
Yeah, there's certain imam out of Houston retweeted that, saying that this is just what was it? What do you call it? Did he call it propaganda, Brad? Or we can go to it. I'd have to go looking for it, but this is exactly what he said. This is nothing but propaganda, Jewish propaganda.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
All right.
So Hijab
run out of time. Got a half hour. Got a half hour, dude.
All right. Well, Hijab actually said that the news media and the government are not academically peer-approved sources.
I don't think Muhammad Hijab understands what a peer-reviewed document is.
Well, he's from Oxford, so now they have a different standard. Anyway, let's pull up the document because we got, like I said, we got some more to go over here, and we're going to skip over mostly Hijab stuff.
He
Oh,
goes
this
up
one,
to the
no.
teacher.
No, that one right
he goes,
there.
He goes up to the
October
professor and
16th.
says, "What do you mean I failed?" Oh, you passed.
Look at this one, October 16th. Hold up. One of the
What
quickest
are you
ways,
doing?
one of the quickest and most effective ways of getting Muslims to hate you is for you to have an anti-Palestinian position. If you want them to despise you, then openly support the war crimes of the apartheid state of Israel. Wow. Okay, so there you have it. You know,
Yeah, I support Israel, and to say that
So,
they're apartheid
Mr.
state is
Hijab, where
irrelevant.
are your peer-reviewed documents about the war crimes of Israel? I want to see them. Your
Oh.
peer-reviewed documents to support your
Um,
claim. I don't
I
think
wanna-
they exist.
I want to go a little bit further and say, hey, I support the beautiful lives of every human being that is in existence right now. I don't care who they are, if they're Palestinian, if they're Israel, or if they're American, or if they're Egyptian. Their lives are precious to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You do
Yes.
not murder them. Period.
You don't sacrifice your friends or your people that you represent. That is what your leaders are claiming that should be done.
Well, they're all claim that it should be done. Their prophets claim that it should be done. So let's make sure we understand the basis, the foundational basis for all of this hatred, where it comes from. And it
And
comes
yes,
from
we know
Quran,
that what
Surah.
innocent means, Hijab. So don't sit there and lie to us.
Yeah. Okay. Rad.
hold up. Let's do some more.
All right. Here we go.
Let's see here. If anyone blew up a hospital, again, he's repeating lies. Scroll down. Keep scrolling down.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because Hamas does that all the time.
You stated. Oh, this is going. He's going to the. Oh, here we go. Dehumanization has become a theme in this conflict. How can people care so little about the destruction of a hospital? In contrast, this is how the Prophet Muhammad responded to the death of a Jew. Whatever. Anyway, scroll down.
Do what?
Oh, here we go. Jake the metaphysician. Here we go. This
Did
is
he
on
quote the
October
verse?
7th. Well, he did, but we don't have to go over that because that's BS anyway. They don't even accept their own hadith. Anyway, Jake the Muslim metaphysician. It's on October 7th. May Allah protect the Palestinians, and may He curse and destroy the tyrants. May Allah protect the Palestinians, and may He curse and destroy the Israelis. This is after the attack. He is clearly
he's
here
saying
open.
the tyrants, so maybe he's talking about cursing. Because all the people who live in the area, all the Muslims that live in the area, are into cursing and destroying they don't like the Palestinians. Even when Egypt, the Muslim country of Egypt, opened the doors to let 20 trucks out of 200 deliver supplies, they didn't let one of them in to Egypt. They didn't let one. So that's something to think about.
Serpico wanted to add something, sir. Welcome to the stream. What hast thou for us, sir? Hello. He was going to add something. Darcy said he was going to add something, and
Serpico, we're waiting to hear your voice.
He's not muted, so there might be an.
Sorry, guys.
No, there he is.
Oh yeah, I was trying not to disrupt the video. I wasn't really planning
No.
on coming and saying anything. I just wanted to share a video. Since I'm talking, let me just tell you why I'm sharing this video. Just watching all these streams and stuff lately, and seeing all these images we've been seeing these past couple of weeks. I'm speaking for everyone. Really, I should speak for myself. I've really had my heart hardened. This is a struggle I've had for a few years, ever since. Like I was in Greece a few years ago in the front lines with this mass migration and helping and witnessing all these things and so on. And then following the apologists later on and learning all these things for the first time in my life about Islam, basically the truth about Islam. Instead of developing this empathy that I want to develop for Muslims, the exact opposite happened. I basically began developing a distaste for him, a hatred. It's embarrassing to admit, but that's where I'm at. So this is something that I've been personally struggling with for a while. I mean, I want to know the truth. We need to combat evil, but it's hard to balance that with keeping that Christian love in our hearts and our lives for everyone, even our enemy. Anyway, yeah. To that
Yeah,
end, sorry.
you gotta hate the sin, not the sinner. That's what they say.
Amen. So also, let me, since I'm hogging up the whole show, I apologize, but I also want to share that I do have a really close friend, a Palestinian Christian, and I haven't heard from him in a while. So, but a couple of years ago, he shared this video with me, which is very moving. It's my favorite Christmas carol. It's personally very moving to me, especially the part where it says, we're offering God our best. It's an admission that we're falling short of giving something better, something perfect to God, but God is still gracious and accepts our gift, as pathetic as it may be. So, anyway, I just wanted to share this video. It's actually Palestinian choir, but they're in Bethlehem on the rooftops singing a Little Drummer Boy, and I thought it might be something that when you guys are ready to close, it'd be good to share with the audience, and hopefully it doesn't zap you. And hopefully it's not.
Do you have the link for it?
Yeah, let me put it in the private chat.
Okay. Yeah, put it in the chat, and then I'll. Here we go. How long is it? It's. Victor Davis, since it's the ad for this guy. Okay, here we are. This is. Okay, 5 minutes. All right, we'll play it at the end. We appreciate that. And then I hear you. And let me just tell you the same thing. We all have that struggle of loving your neighbor as yourselves, praying for your enemies, doing all these things that Christ has commanded us to do. It's because we're in the flesh, and we all struggle with it. I have those same convictions that you do, as far as having this visceral disgust for what these guys have done, what they've done to innocent women, children, raping women, killing, all these awful things that they've done. It's absolutely disgusting. It's savagery is what it is. But as Ed said, you hate the sin and you love the sinner. It's a very hard thing to do. It's almost impossible, especially when you get in the flesh and you start thinking about it. But there's a part of you that you have to reach beyond in your emotional state. You have to remember that everybody is created in the image of God. Everybody is precious in his sight. And if they're precious in his sight, they must also be precious in your sight. The reason why you have people walking into houses and killing women, killing children, slaughtering people the way that they did is because they have a demonic blindness to think that anybody that would think that some 53-year-old man who crawls on top of a 9-year-old prepubescent little girl and calls it marriage is somehow a prophet. You have to have something removed from your humanity in order to believe that this person is somebody to follow and to emulate. And I honestly believe, in my heart of hearts, Muslims are spiritually blinded people. They have allowed this satanic spirit to overtake their souls, and what it does is it corrupts them. It corrupts them to the point where they come out and they commit these type of heinous things. They teach their children from their little. We just saw it early on the show. They teach their children to hate another group of people. In the West, this is something that is antithetical to us here in the West. We live under the command of Christ, do unto others as that you would have them do unto you. And we can't understand how people can live that way. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. It is hard. It is terribly hard to do it. But this is what our Lord and Savior commands us to do. So we must at least try.
Yeah, it's tough for me to understand, to be honest with you. I feel horrible now. I really feel like I'm sidetracking us, but
no, it needs to be said. People need to hear this because everybody thinks you should see some of the emails I get. You're a hater, you're a hate preacher, you're a bigot, you're a racist, you're a phobe. You inspire people to kill, innocent. But they need to know. I got a bug flying around here. They need to know where our hearts are at, and our hearts are genuinely, even though we struggle, are generally trying to be Christ-like. Even though we know we can't, we still must love our fellow human beings, even though that they are committing these heinous acts. The only thing that we can pray for is that God's Spirit would touch these people, soften their hearts, that they would be more welcoming or more prone to accept what Jesus Christ has done for them. That is the only, and we said this last week or 2 weeks ago, the only way that this problem gets solved ever is for them to accept Jesus Christ. Because if they continue the way that they are with their hatred, it's just a cycle, and it never stops. If you teach your children what they teach them, it never stops. It's generational. The average age in Palestine, quote unquote, the Palestinian territories, the occupied territory, is 18. 18. Most of these people weren't even born before 9/11. Most of the people that live in those territories were born after that, and they've been trained to hate Christians, Western civilization, Israel, and they just don't. And their education system. Look what they're trying to teach them there in their schools. The kid said it himself. He said, "Oh, the Zionists, they teach their kids that the Jewish temple is below the Temple Mount." That's a lie. We know it's a lie. No, it's the truth, but yet they teach them a lie and they perpetuate it.
And just to prove that true, a friend of mine and I went out on the dark web and we pulled down everything that ISIS had ever put up there. And we created a video from their sources, from them, showing exactly how they operate, what their mindset is, and what they're doing.
This is the Art of Imposture. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, Art of Imposture. That's the name of the website. You can go to artofimposturefilm.com, and it's all there.
And it's
all there.
It's hard. It really is hard to have empathy for these people. We still must have empathy. That doesn't mean that we don't go in and try to get the hostages. That doesn't mean we don't exact what we need to do in order to destroy Hamas, a terrorist organization that is dedicated to destroying the Jewish people. We're still commanded to protect our people, and this is what the Israelis must do.
You also have to know how your enemy thinks. Yeah. This is why we do what we do, because you got to know how your enemy thinks.
I don't know. Like the other thing that I'm struggling with is just accepting this reality. It's just something that I've come to realize here later in life that that evil actually exists, and even though I'm just a few days ago or just moments ago I'm seeing these videos. My brain still wants that what we're calling cognitive dissonance. That that denial thing. Okay, well this can't be real. I'd rather just pretend that doesn't exist and just go to the warm fuzzy loving things. But I don't know.
When my dad came home from World War II, he was a POW in a Stalag 25 camp in Austria for a solid year, and because of how their resources got cut off, the Germans' resources got cut off. Well, guess who didn't get to eat the most? The prisoners of war. It was the military that got the food first, and whatever came down to the last, is what they got. But if you read Isaiah 64:6 that I posted in here, it says, "But we are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousness are as a filthy rag. And we all do fade as a leaf, and all of our iniquities like the wind have taken us away." We're nothing. Really, in our present state, we are nothing.
Let me just say one more thing, since we spent this much time on this. To reinforce also your point. I know it seems like I'm going back and forth here, kind of like Quran. I'm kind of contradicting myself here now, but I mean, Scripture does tell us, you can, the eyes are the windows to the soul. And I know we shouldn't judge people by appearance and all these things and put people in categories. But I mean, like even the Muslim apologists, I mean, you just look in their eyes and it's just something different. It's like, sorry.
Actually, we're told to judge others. We are told to look and see what they're doing. We are told that. look, see what they're doing, and if it's not in Christ's teachings, then they're wrong.
Well, to judge people by
It's the
their
wrong
fruits.
thing.
By their fruits.
Exactly.
You will know them. Yeah.
But
Yep.
last note, forgive me. Just one more thing. Something that kind of helps me out, but this stuff is just so immense. It's just difficult. But I mean, as much as I hate Hollywood, and again, I'm dedicating my life to exposing just how horrible Hollywood has been towards society worldwide for so long. But because I'm a product of it, I often defer to it. So one of my favorite things from the original Star Wars trilogy, the spiritual struggle, is this whole this Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker thing, where the evil emperor is like is using his father to kind of pit each other against each other and get Luke Skywalker to give into his passions, his hatred, and to strike down his father and claim this power and kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, that imagery is what kind of helps me to not, as the fathers talk about, to not give into the passions. I think Satan, that's what he wants. He wants us to be angry and visceral and hateful toward each other and just be attacking people, whether we have a reason or not.
Amen, brother. I'm a huge Star Wars fan too, man.
All right. Thank you for giving me this time. God bless you and keep
All right. Well, thanks for coming in, Nico. We appreciate you. You're welcome anytime you want.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Nicodemus.
Okay. Let's see here. Where were we? I think we were with Rad. Rad, are you still there? Or did you
I'm still here.
Go take a nap.
I'm still here.
Okay, we're on Jake the Fake Metaphysician, I think.
Okay, so here we go. My Allah. Well, we already read that. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down. So here he is. He's totally on the exact day. He's praising the Palestinians and he's cursing the Israelis. Keep going. You can click over this. It's kind of funny though.
He's putting this out there, and he hasn't seen the complete total number of people that Islam has wiped out in its
270
existence.
million. Yeah, 270 million.
Oh no! It's more than that, bro. It's 670 million. Not 270 million, 670 million.
Over the 1400 years. And you have I'm not calling you out, but do you have a source for that?
Yeah, I do. Hold on.
Okay. Can you just email it to me? Just email it to me. Because I would be very interested in that source. Go ahead.
The real point here is he's saying this is a genocide. He's measuring in the amount of deaths. Everything about these idiots is all about deaths. It's all about the body counts. He doesn't show that the Palestinian population in all areas has increased by like 6%, okay, since 1947. Whereas the Christian population has definitely decreased in Palestinian or areas by 4%. But either way, just everything that they do is measured in death, not in life, and that's the reason why I put that there. I just kind of find it funny. And we scroll down. Oh, that's Daniel Hickachu. Sorry, that's that's Jake reposting Daniel Hickachu, and they're all just reposting each other. It's just kind of funny. Jake the Fake. Oh yeah, so he's takfiring Barack Obama. You're a sellout and always have been. Muslims should remember this moment. Do the so-called Muslims supporting the left or have in the past not seen in the past not see and understand this? They are not our friends, never have been, and never will be. This is Barack Obama giving his weak statement that he supports Israel. But hey, either way, but he's just takfiring like everybody here. Here we go. Here's another one. Okay. Supporting Israel against the Muslims was an act of apostasy. So if you support Israel, you're actually committing apostasy and can't be imagined coming from someone who claims to be a Muslim. Taking the enemies of Islam as allies against them is pure major hypocrisy. Some dude named Mohammed Qureshi, I guess, said it was wrong what they did. But scroll down, keep going. There we go. There you go. Yes, Allah, I pray that you don't put one of these Zionist pigs in front of me.
Yeah.
Well, this dude did say call.
This is the tough guy attitude.
Yeah.
I pray that I'll take it. Was put a 9 in your behind or something? We heard that somewhere before too.
Yeah.
All right, that's the end of it.
Well, yeah. So now we can get to Kenny.
Great.
This is before this. I just put this in there because I just thought this was funny. Because he's still on the
Okay,
whole
no,
thing, you know.
this was right after he got called a racist for telling David that he was going to whip him with his belt. I'm going to take my belt off and
Right,
whip you.
right. Yeah, oh, yeah. So go ahead, pull it up. For some reason, I feel I will die at the hands of a random stranger who disagrees with my religion, or someone who has misjudged me based on something seen on the internet. Am I afraid? Not at all. I only fear Allah. You better sneak up, soldier of Allah. Hashtag consider Islam. Yeah, he's so real brave one there. No, Kenny. Dude, you keep talking to people like you do on the internet in public, random people, total strangers. And yeah, dude, you ain't long for this world. I'm just telling you that. But yeah, seriously. Okay. Oh, here we go. So this is October 8th. This is the day afterwards. What we see in Gaza is hostages, taking hostages. So the Hamas, who broke into Israel, raped, murdered, killed, tortured, and took hostages, were actually being taken by hostages. Right. Don't be bamboozled by the media making those being oppressed, the evil party, when they fight get back against their oppressors. Think deeper. Do not be a puppet of the string of Zionist puppeteers. Hashtag consider Islam. Wow. This is October 8th,
Eric.
by the way. Yeah. Scroll down. We got more. This is the wisdom of Kenny here. And the proper war machine.
Hold up. I had myself on mute. I'm sorry. Making those who oppress the evil party when they fight. Okay, it says when they fight back against their oppressors. This guy claims to be a soldier of something. He says, I'm the Mujahideen of Allah. If you think that walking into a neighborhood and machine gunning men, women, children, taking people hostage and raping them, holding them captive, has anything to do with being a soldier, you're an idiot. No soldier in any army with any amount of discipline and decency would do this to another human being. Nobody goes into villages and purposely kills innocent civilians, machine guns them and kills them in cold blood. Nobody does that. There was an incident in Vietnam. Remember the My Lai massacre? Remember hearing about this?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay. And what did we do? What do we do to soldiers who do this? We punish them. We put them, because this is something that we don't do. Oh, Mujahideen, soldier of Allah. This is not what soldiers do. I know you're a wannabe. That's what he is. He's a wannabe soldier.
Yeah, he'll never ever be one.
This soldiers do not do this to innocents. Don't give me this crap that, well, they're innocent. They're not innocents because they're not Muslims. They're not. They're Israeli. No, don't give me that crap. No soldier, any decent soldier of his word, a soldier that has a moral compass and a conscience, and still has his soul, would never do this as a soldier. To say that this is something that they're just doing. What does it say? When they fight back, this is not fighting back against your oppressor at all. And to think that to say that they're oppressors is absolutely ridiculous to begin with. But anyway, all right, let's go.
How can to be an oppressor you have to not be giving stuff to them for free?
But also, doesn't a soldier like of the United States Army have to take an oath?
Yeah.
Well, they take oaths as well, but their oath is for the purpose of jihad.
Yeah, exactly, and that's my point. So his point is the exact opposite of what he's trying to say. He's trying to fool you into saying, "Hey, this is the deal." No, it's not. He's lying.
This is just absolute garbage. This is just garbage. All right, Rad, let's roll.
Load up. Okay. Okay. Terrorists by the oppressors are certainly. Oh yeah, in the pop, we already read that. Scroll down.
And not to mention, Kenny never served anywhere at any
Uh,
time ever.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, Ed. Yes, he did. He served
in the
time
strip
in
club.
jail. It said
Yeah,
he served time in jail. Come on,
not in prison, but almost a year in
right.
jail. Yeah, pull it up. Okay, so here we go. This is he's denying the thing. We have been being told for several days out that the Sherry Lunk was brutally. Oh no, this is that woman that was brutally murdered and stripped naked by Hamas, and her mother is now coming forward with claims that she is alive. Propaganda.
Yeah.
The woman's got a big gaping hole in the side of her head, and he's calling that propaganda that she's dead. But yet the fake news report that came out saying that she was alive, that's not propaganda. In other words, Kenny, you believe the propaganda of Hamas, but you deny the truth and reality that is coming out. You call that propaganda. That's
because
because you
that
are
big hole's
biased.
in the side of his head.
Right. No,
It's a
yes.
hole in his heart is what it is. A hole in your soul. If you were going to say these type of things and try to justify, you had your soul left. You've lost your humanity. If you're trying to,
There's a
this
hole
is
in
what
your
he's trying to
soul.
do.
Mhm.
I see this as
it's more than that,
his
just
need
to
to
deny it. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I see this as his need to defend Allah, his defenseless God who is the father of terrorism. He is the one who created terrorism. So Kenny has to defend Allah because Allah is small. He's not big. He's not
Exactly.
bigger. He's not
He's a
great.
mouse.
He's a little tiny bitty God that you can take out of a box, put him back again, and it's that simple. That's the kind of God Kenny is.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that?
You know, a
That's-
dog can't fight
that's-
back. He's
that's-
got two right hands.
Guys, that's Allah. Y'all hear him?
That's silence. Yes, that's
right,
silence. I heard Allah.
Hold on, we got a few more. I definitely want to get there, Kenny. With all the rhetoric being used in the media, we can all expect crimes against Muslims to increase. So
Yeah, it
how many
hasn't happened.
synagogues have been vandalized? There was actually a Muslim woman. This may be domestic, but I don't know. There was a Jewish woman who was just murdered in Detroit. She was actually a Democratic operative. She was actually friends of Rashid Tlaib, according to Rashid, but then Rashid took the
She was
tweet down.
killed in her house, is what we know. Yes.
Yeah, she was stabbed dead. Nothing was taken. It could be domestic. I'm not, ruling that out. But either way, we got attacks of Jewish people all over the country. We got synagogues being attacked and vandalized. And this dude is, the Muslims are going to be attacked. Now there was a case here in Illinois, in the suburb of I don't know, whatever it was. They got destroyed by a tornado a while ago. Anyway, Plainfield. Where this Muslim woman or Palestinian woman and her son were living with this 72-year-old man in his house. They were renting out a room from his house, and I guess he was a nutcase to begin with. And for some reason, he just stabbed the kid to death, and we all condemn that as a horrible thing. Stabbing a 6-year-old boy to death, or just killing a 6-year-old boy. I mean, for any reason, that is a horrible, horrible thing.
And anybody that would try to justify that is soulless too.
Exactly.
And notice that we would universally people would condemn the violence against anyone based on their religion. We do not condone any type of violence on anybody based on any religious affiliation.
We're not sitting there denying it. We're not calling it propaganda.
Well, we have people that try to associate, but what they're trying to do is they're trying to project their own personal hatreds and their own personal feelings on. And the reason why we say this is because a certain disgraced cop out of Georgia has made a video saying that I inspired that guy to kill that child.
Right.
What a piece of garbage. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But notice we're not saying it's propaganda that this poor child was murdered. It's lies. It's not the oppressed attacking the oppressor. As all this garbage you're making up. No, we're saying it's wrong, but no uncertain terms. Anyway,
that's it, Kenny. That's all you got me. What do you do? What's wrong? You're falling off your wagon, dude. I mean, we go straight into her job here. So yeah.
No. That was it.
That was it.
No. There's more.
Okay, there might have been. Okay, hold on. Go ahead.
All right, hold on. Let me pull up mine.
No, I got it here. Let me find
Okay.
it real quick.
Okay.
Good night.
All right.
Let's see here. Maybe this is it. Well, hold on. We see Gaza taking hostages, propaganda, war machine rolls on. We have been told Deva days with Reddick. No, that was it. That was it. That's all you sent me.
There
Really?
was a French teacher who was killed on the day of jihad because a man swore allegiance to ISIS, and he decided he would just follow through. There was a person in New York City this week at New York University who was assaulted. He's Jewish, and they purposely assaulted him. The FBI got involved. The local police got involved. But for some reason, the perps even identified them. Has anything happened to them?
Here's one. Here's one. French assailant was looking for a history teacher.
Yes, that's him.
Is this what
Yes.
you're talking about? Yeah, it was looking. Well, that sounds.
Yeah, they were trying to kill another teacher. He did kill the teacher. He assaulted two others. Was it 2 or 3 other staff members before he was taken down? In Belgium, there was another one. He killed 2 Swedes, and this is a guy who was hiding from Tunisia, and he was guilty of terrorism in Tunisia. They were looking for him. He was supposed to serve a 17-year sentence, and the Belgian police said, okay, we'll take care of that, and they ended his life, so he could not go on and kill anymore.
Yeah, and he wants to sit there and tell us that. Well, I'm afraid that more violence is going to be committed against Muslims. You know, it's just, you know, when you think about the Crusades and, you know, you have 500 years of Islamic invasions of Christian lands, the taking, the subjugating, the raping, the pillaging of Christian lands for 500 years. And then Christians turn around and they have about a 300-year period where they go into the Holy Land. Not of all, they don't go into Egypt. They don't go to Morocco. They don't go to, you know, India or other these the Caucasus or whatever. No, they go to the Holy Land where the people are still trying to take pilgrimages to, where they're beaten, raped, robbed, killed, and they go in there and they retake them and rule them for 300 years, and then they're kicked out, and then we're constantly reminded that it is the Muslims who are the victims, when it is for out of the 1,400 years, 1,100 of them, they've been the aggressors. And then we're supposed to somehow have some type of restraint when protecting ourselves from their aggressions. You know, I don't know how you can rationalize that. I mean, that's, to me, it sounds like the epitome of cowardice. You know, what are you hitting me for? Well, because you're hitting me first.
Yeah, I just looked over the doc, and I must have accidentally deleted the one where Kenny is talking about dehumanization. All these.
Yeah, this is one of his. Yeah, this is one of his propaganda ploys.
You mean, but he actually calls people swine of the humankind in the tweet. Hold on, let me see if I can find it real quick.
Hold on. Oh, hold on. Well, who's? Oh, I got his book back here with my swine of the humankind on his book.
Just real quick. We are in the year 2023, correct? Christ ascended to heaven. 20 or 33 AD, right? So we're around 10 years. 10 years of 2,000 years of that happening. So I'm
retiring. I'm going to retire and live my life to its fullest. And
I'm just saying, guys, you know, we're getting really close. You know that, right?
And don't set a date, Ed, but I understand.
I'm not setting a date.
I actually agree with you on that.
You can sit there and wonder if this is going to result with Israel being from the river to the sea and being the picture of Israel back as a result of all these attacks. Could they restore Israel to the King David size?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I mean, could that happen? I mean, that would probably put a whole other spin on some prophecy.
I'm just saying things are going down enough now to where, you know, hey, we're starting to get there.
All right, we're going to close out the show. Did anybody have anything last thing to add? I'm going to play this video from Nico here, if you all don't mind. Does anybody have anything to add? And then I'll go ahead and end the stream once it's done.
No,
All right.
just read, research, and question. That's all the 3 words I have.
There you go, Darcy. All right. Y'all have a blessed week.
Wait, I do want to say something.
Go ahead.
I found it real quick. Hold on, let me pull it up here. This is Kenny. Through the propaganda, they promote war. They feed the masses with it like swine of the humankind and kill them all becomes the slogan of the patriots. They dehumanize their enemies by calling them animals, as commoners became puppets on the strings of propaganda puppeteers. So he calls people swine of the humankind. He does it. They feed the masses with it like swine of the humankind. Okay? So he's calling people swine of the humankind and then saying that we are the ones who are dehumanizing people by comparing, by insulting animals, by comparing Hamas, the murderers, the butchers, to animals. I mean,
swine of the humankind.
No, I want to say this. I want to say this. Kenny, get out of my country. Get out of my country.
98.6, folks. The people
right,
of the
go
book
ahead.
and the Jews are the worst of creatures. That's what their God says. Is we are the worst of the creatures. Okay. Lastly, there will not be a show next week. I know you're all disappointed, but I am going to be in Kafirstan East next week, so we will not be having a show, and we will come back. I think it's the 5th of September, the first Sunday in September. We'll be back, so you all
September.
What did I say?
You invent that time machine?
The 5th of November. Did I say something else?
Yeah, you said September.
All right. So I appreciate you keeping me straight. Yeah, the 5th of September. The 5th of November, we'll be back here with the Crossing the Crescent discussion group. Thank you all for coming. People in chat, you know I love you. Thank you for coming, guys, on the panel.
Islamophobia at its
Thank you.
finest.
Thank you. All right. Here we go. Can you guys hear that?
Yes.
Crank it.
Come, they told me, param pam pam pam. A newborn king to see, param pam pam pam. Our finest gifts we bring, param pam pam pam. To lay before the king, param pam pam pam, ram pam pam pam, ram pam pam pam. And so to honor him, param pam pam pam, when we come, when we come. When we come.
في نجمي ضوت في السما من بعيد، هالنجمة كانت من ملاك الروح، ولد المسيح بارم بابا بام بام. سبحوه يا جميع الناس، هللو هللو. Sulla strada para pa pam pam, un tamburino va para pa pam pam, al ritmo del suo cuore para pa pam pam, segnando il passo va para pa pam pam, ra pa pam pam. ram pa pam pam. Bimbo dimmi un po' para pa pam pam, dove vai tu? أولاك العيد في عنده والجاي في وجه بيضحك والتاني حزين، والحزن الطالع من جوا موجوع في دموع وصوت بيصرخ عنا جوع مش مسموع صوته بمغارة صغير ولد طفل فقير بشار العالم بفرح عظيم، خلص العالم من حزنه ووجاعه، بتلاحم صار فيها حدث كبير وفرح كبير وأمل كبير. نهار صغير وللطفل فقير بشار العالم بفرح عظيم، خلص العالم من حزنه وأوجاعه، بتلاحم صار فيها حدث كبير وفرح كبير وأمل كبير.
Well, that was beautiful. Thank you. Well, I guess that ends the show. I think
advanced student and specialist, that the standard narrative has holes. That's what I'm
that the Muslims were rioting against one another. And as much as we don't want to face the fact, the Muslims were lying sometimes. They were fabricating, they were embellishing, and that might be hard to accept, but that is a reality.